Hey sweet friends, welcome to the homestead. If you are new here, my name is Elizabeth, and this week I'll be preserving a few things, mostly butternut squash, and I'll also be cooking from scratch. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the Three Rivers Challenge. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, let's get into the video. The weather here in upstate New York has been a little bit crazy. It's been raining like crazy. It actually got up to 50 degrees this week. So we've lost the majority of our snow. We got a little bit the very next day after we lost all of our snow. And now we have freezing temperatures again, as you can hear when I walk on the ground. And the Goaty girls don't seem to mind it as long as I bring them their food and their probiotic snacks. They don't mind. And of course, I have my helper here, Jackie. And it was so beautiful out this morning. The sun was out for 5 minutes, so we got to enjoy that. My chickens, on the other hand, they have been not enjoying this weather. They don't like the wind, the cold. My big girls do, the young ones, my lace Wyandottes and my buff Orpingtons, they don't seem to mind. All right, we got these kids taken care of, and now we're going to head inside and preserve some squash. Come on, Jackie, son. Hi. Good boy. Come on. And I actually just started getting a few eggs from my little bantam chickens. They were on strike since this fall. Now these are a few of the butternut squash that I got from the Amish food market. It's actually an auction where all the Amish and are actually English people, they all go and bring their produce there, and they auction off all their fruits and veggies, and they even had some elderberries and horseradish fruit there I've seen. So here I am going to just be peeling these up, and I'm going to chop them up into, I would say, 1 to 2 inch size pieces. And then I'm going to actually bake a couple of the squash because I was going to puree them up and use them for different things. Like I'm going to be making a butternut squash pie, which was truly amazing. It was so delicious. We really love that. And I'm going to be making a butternut squash soup. And here I'm just getting all of the guts out, and the chickies are really going to enjoy these. So I have some seeds, and I'm going to be seed saving because I know they are not hybrid seeds. So I actually ended up with 8 quarts. So I did 2 different batches of 4, and I'm just filling them up the best I can, giving them a little shake so they kind of settle in, and then I'll fill them up with water. And of course I had some siphoning, but that is okay as long as the jar is sealed. It is safe. And then I'll just be using these for different meals like the pies that I make, and also some butternut squash soup and whatnot. And I'll also be using these for my dog's treats. So I'll be pressure canning these for 90 minutes in my Presto pressure canner, and then I will let them cool, wash the jars, label them, and put them on my shelf. And then I'll have some beautiful butternut squash for the rest of the year. So that makes me very happy. And I just want to talk a little bit about the Three Rivers Challenge. So it's a challenge that Jessica over at the Three Rivers Homestead hosts every year. It's in January and February, and I'll be joining her with that. And there's also many other families that will be joining her as well. So the whole point of the challenge is to save money and use up the goodies that you have in your larder and in your pantry. All the canned goods and all of the preservation that you've done is going to pay off now, as you'll be making meals from scratch and just doing the best you can to use up all of those items that you had preserved. Some people do not go to the store at all. I'll probably be heading there to get some meat products because I don't have access to any meat like cows or anything. I knew I should have went hunting this year, but I did not get my tags, and I was so busy working and just taking care of the homestead, I did not have time. So next year I will probably make time because I would love to have some venison in my freezer, and I actually would love to have some canned in my pantry. So here I'm just making the start to my butternut squash soup. I have some onions and garlic, salt and pepper, and I actually have a nice big quart of turkey bone broth that I had from Thanksgiving, and I am going to add that to the mix as well. So I'm just adding that, and then I'm going to add a whole butternut squash. I'll also be adding some milk, about a couple cups, and a little bit of heavy cream, and I'll add some garlic powder, onion powder, and a little chicken bouillon spice to the mix, and that is it. This actually ended up turning out so amazing. It's one of my favorite soups ever. And I'll be making a couple grilled cheese sandwiches to go with it. So here I got it all blended up with my stick blender, and then I have my grilled cheese sandwiches cooking on my cast iron pan, and that is going to be a dinner tonight. And I almost forgot, I had a little bit of rosemary on my plant, which is dying right now, so that makes me sad. At least I had a little bit to put in my soup. We're gonna serve this and enjoy. And it is the perfect comfort food. I love a soup and sandwiches at least once a week during the winter. Since I had everything out to make this butternut squash pie, I decided to just throw it together and pop it in the oven, and it was so delicious. We actually served it with my homemade ice cream, and that was the bee's knees. So this was actually a hit with the hubs, so I will be making this again in the future. So I just baked it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 60 minutes, or until you get a little jiggle on the pie. So you don't want it to be like a wave when you shake it, you want it to be just a little jiggle. This week I've been watching some of my cooking shows that I love to watch when I have free time on my hand, and I was inspired to make this Indian sourdough fry bread. So I thought that would be a really good idea just to make something quick and easy and more interesting for dinner that night. I'm just frying up 4 because it's just the 2 of us. And I'm going to top it with some chicken that I had in the freezer, and I added some taco seasoning to it. And I'm just gonna top it with some lettuce and tomatoes and a little bit of Monterey Jack cheese that I had in my cheese cave that we needed to use up. And I will show you what that looks like in a minute. It turned out so amazing. These were actually perfect because there wasn't any rise time. You just throw it together, roll it out, and then you can make it a sweet treat or a savory treat. So that's what was amazing about it. You can make it your own. And tonight we are making a savory dish. So I put some chicken, tomatoes, cheese, and a bit of lettuce. And of course I sprinkled some hot sauce on top, and that was so amazing. So we'll be doing this again.
Yeah, that's good.
I also made some bread this week, so 2 loaves will last us a whole week. We go through it pretty fast because we make a lot of dishes with it. And I like to have toast in the morning for breakfast before I go to work. So I'm just going to check the temperature on these. The internal temperature should be around 200 degrees. And then they are going to cool. I'll pop one in the freezer and the other one is going to be eaten right away. And of course, I decided to make some cinnamon rolls. These are just regular cinnamon rolls with yeast in it. And I'm going to pop those in the oven, and then we'll have this for dessert actually, and then we'll have it the next morning for breakfast. For the glaze, all I did was add 2 to 3 cups of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of real butter, a splash of vanilla, and a splash of milk. And then I just poured that all on while it was still warm so it was spreadable. And then we enjoyed that for dessert. It was so filling, but definitely delicious with the cinnamon and sugar and the butter. You can actually make these sweet or savory. And someday I am going to make these savory with bacon in the middle and some cheese on top. I cannot wait to show you guys. I actually want to make the recipe like I did the Yorkshire puddings with some sausage and peppers, maybe a little bit of bacon and some of my homemade cheese. That would be so delish. The winter solstice is upon us. It is the shortest day of the year, and this is when the light returns. And it has ancient roots marked by cultures worldwide with festivals of light, feasting, and rebirth, symbolizing the sun's return. And the return of the light is just reminding us that the dreary, long winter is not going to last forever. And of course, we're also celebrating the birth of Jesus. A few traditions that we usually do every year is I make a wreath. I try to bring greenery inside so I can bring the outside in. I love doing that all the time anyway. And we just cook comfort meals, and we just appreciate and we send thankful vibes out into the universe. I'm very curious to know about your traditions. So let me know in the comments what you and your family do for the winter solstice or for Christmas. I would love to hear from you guys. This week we also cleaned the chicken coop, we did the rabbit pen, and we're just making sure everyone's nice and comfy for the next couple of months because it is going to be super cold. And that's all I have for you this week, friends. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a happy solstice. Many blessings, and I'll see you on the next one, friends.